Shalom. Before I get started, as always, I want to give all praise unto our power, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahaha Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and salutations and blessings to the hopeful elect that are scattered throughout the four winds of the earth, whom believe wholeheartedly in the true doctrine that is being pushed throughout the four winds of the earth, who are in hope of mercy and salvation in these last seconds of Esau rules on the planet Earth, as well as during the time of Jacob's trouble, all right, and when Yahweh Shai returns to the planet Earth, all right, which all culminates into the same time, all right. Um, I believe I'm gonna call this. Um, it'll be worse in America, all right, and this is based upon a quick uh, clip I want to share, which is from this news channel entitled "Democracy Now." All right. I thought I was subscribed to this channel, but it does come up on my. It might have answered. You know how Esau do. But this clip was aired on the 28th of May, 2025. Um, Today is what is today? I believe today's the first, if I'm not mistaken, June 1st, 2025. The hopeful year of our deliverance and Esau Edom's destruction. All right. Um, so I'm gonna play this first little segment of this news broadcast here, and this is dealing with a manufactured famine that's happening over there in Gaza. All right, and it'll be worse in Babylon the Great. All right, it'll be worse here in America. All right, it will be absolutely worse here in America. Okay, so without any further ado, let's watch this. And of course, we're going to get the Holy Scriptures.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip have killed at least 15 people since dawn, part of an intensifying onslaught that displaced 180,000 Palestinians in just 10 days. On Tuesday, 8 people were killed when Israel struck the home of Palestine.
You see these, let me back it up a little bit. This is somewhat of a siege. Okay? You see the buildings are being turned to, they're being leveled. All right? You got these tent cities, so to speak. And what's happening is nothing is coming in and nothing can go out. All right? It'll be a lot worse here in America.
Days. On Tuesday, 8 people were killed when Israel struck the home of Palestinian journalist Osama al-Arbid in northern Gaza. He survived the strike and was filmed being pulled from the rubble of the house. Israel's continuing attacks came as Gaza's hunger crisis deepened. Hungry families in Gaza City report they're going without meals as they have yet to see any of the trickle of...
Look how they fighting over meal. All right, that looked like ground corn, or that was the damn bucket was empty. You know, they like, I don't even know the word, man. They just fighting over scraps. All right, which this is a manufactured famine. They can't even get to the aid that Esau Edom is supposedly sending to them. All right, what's the hold up with feeding these people? All right, see, the world is finding out who the devil is. All right, see, somehow you people here in America, I'm speaking to my people, you Israelites, you gonna find out very soon that this man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, you getting ready to find that out when you starving, when you can't feed your children. All right, when you're stuck within however many block radius because they're sieging you in. All right, and death is on every side wherever you go. You're going to find out real soon that this man is the devil. All right, and you're going to be put in dire straits. Okay.
Humanitarian aid allowed by Israel to cross into Gaza.
Let me get back up there a bit.
City report they're going without meals as they have yet to see any of the trickle of humanitarian aid allowed by Israel to cross into Gaza. There's no flour and no food to feed the children nor the adults. Everyone is hungry. No one is eating. No one is eating. If you find a kilo of rice today to prepare, you won't find it tomorrow. You would have to divide it over 2 days and feed the children little by little. On Tuesday, Israeli soldiers opened fire on hungry and exhausted residents of the southern city of Rafah as they rushed to receive packages of food. Palestinian media reports at least 3 people were killed, 46 wounded in the chaos. The gunfire rang out after thousands of Palestinians who'd spent hours crowded into fence cages in the hot sun surged.
This is why the righteous need to be in authority on the planet Earth, man. All right? This is a prime example of Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. All right? This is what's happening, man. Okay?
Toward a distribution point set up by the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, a controversial aid group backed by Israel with the support of U.S. private military contractors. It was the group's first day of operations. A United Nations spokesperson on Tuesday called the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation a distraction from what's needed to prevent a humanitarian catastrophe. This is Juliet Touma of the UN Agency for Palestine Refugees.
The needs are 500 to 600 trucks at the minimum that should go into Gaza loaded with supplies, not only food, but also medicine, medical supplies, vaccines for children, fuel, water, and other basics for people's survival. And we're very, very, very far from reaching that target.
In Massachusetts, protesters holding a 20...
So that was it. That was the clip. A real quick 2-minute clip of showing you. And that's just what they want to show you on these news broadcasts. All right? If you go to these different alternative medias, all right, it's a lot worse than what they're showing you, man. When you see they running around with pots, they lining them up like herds of cattle. All right? Just to give them scraps. All right? People are starving over there, all right? And this is coming to Babylon, and it's going to be a lot worse here in Babylon the Great when Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah lets the devil loose here, all right? And the devil is about to be loose. Look, children, okay? Look at that. That's a herd of people, a sea of people. Everybody's starving over there, all right? Now, you can imagine here in Babylon how bad it's going to be. All right? Just look at what's going on over there. All right? And change these people into so-called blacks and Latinos, Israelites. All right? It's going to get real bad in America. All right? And the reason it's going to be even worse here in Babylon is because the people have more than what they can ask for. All right, you got access to food, walking distance from your home. All right, but it's gonna come to the point to where that food will be cut off. All right, it's gonna be cut off, man, just like over there in Gaza, man. All right, so without any further ado, let's read these scriptures to show that the Most High is getting ready to bring a famine to Babylon the Great. All right, and it will be a manufactured famine. All right, you won't be able to access food, water. All right, this is why the different governments of the Western world are telling their peoples to, stock up on food for at least 2 to 3 months. All right. Okay, and then when you go to these different grocery stores, you go to Costco and Sam's Club. All right, they're uh, uh, on the shelves. You have survival food buckets. Food that'll last 25 years. You don't just find those in the grocery stores, or as the scriptures call them, the storehouses. You don't just find those prior to these times that we're living in. All right, going back before 2020. Okay, you didn't just walk into Costco and there's a whole aisle dedicated to survival foods, but now you have that. All right, you have aisles that sell the 25-year buckets, MRE type foods. All right, so let what's happening over there in Gaza, all right, what's happening to those Palestinians, be a dire warning to what's getting ready to happen in Babylon the Great. Okay, not only them being bombed and destroyed and sieged in, but famine and being starved out. All right, because that's what's coming. And the reason it's coming to Babylon, let's get this first here in the book of Tobit. Let's go to Tobit. The fourth chapter. All right. Tobit chapter 4, verse 13, it says, um, let me see. I don't think it's 13. Bear with me a second. I'm going to find it. Let me type this in. Rudeness. Better get it right now. Was I on the right chapter? Was it didn't? But here it is. Damn, I must have been in the wrong chapter because, let me see. Anyway, it don't matter. We got it here. This is the book of Tobit chapter 4, verse 13. It says, Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, in not taking a wife of them. Now this was instruction given uh, by Tobit to his son Tobias. All right, but this second part of the verse is what I really want. All right, it says, For in pride is destruction, and this place here in America is full of pride. All right, these people here in America are proud, especially you Jakes, and you have nothing to be proud about. Okay, for in pride is destruction and much trouble. All right, and this is why Babylon is facing the troubles that it's in right now. All right, everybody's financially struggling. All right, uh, uh, distressed, all right, hoping for things to get better when it's not going to get better, all right. And lewdness is decay. What is lewdness? All right, when you look up lewdness, let's look it up real quick. Okay, America is the mother of lewdness. Okay, it's gonna give us the word lewd, which means non-clerical, unlearned, of uncertain origin, but according to OED, probably ultimately from Vulgar Latin, from late Latin, Lacius, belonging to the people, uh, sense of unlettered, uneducated, and that's what Babylon is. There's no sense of education or morale. All right, this is why you have. This is the world's capital of the porn industry. All right, women. All right, able to create their own little online, you know, porn, Instagram. Women constantly shaking their ass, titties, half naked. Men as well. Men on there, you know what I'm saying, showing off their nakedness. Okay? Which is fucking weird. You know? You got men wearing little ass shorts to show they print. Alright? It's total vile, alright, out here, man. From early 13th century descended to coarse, vile, lustful. Okay? And this is what you have in Babylon, man. Everywhere you turn. Okay? Everywhere you turn, you're going to see this vile and lustful spirit everywhere. All right? And this is why the Lord is getting ready to bring great famine to this place. Okay? So again, it says, for in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. All right? Great want. You're going to be in the want of everything. When what's happening in Gaza comes to Babylon the Great, but 100 times worse. Okay? Because you're so spoiled here in America, you don't think that these things can happen. All right? You truly don't think that these things can happen here in Babylon. Well, they can. And they will happen. All right? Thus saith the Lord. It says, for lewdness is the mother of famine. Okay? That's what's coming. A famine. A great famine that's going to be brought upon you people. All right? Now, from here, let's go to the law. All right? Deuteronomy 28. I'm sorry. Yeah, the law, the curses. All right? We're going to go straight to the point. We're going to start at, I believe it's 53. Yep. Deuteronomy 28:53. It says, um, it says, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body. All right? I'm sure you having that happen over there in Gaza, man. I'm sure it's getting to the point to where they about ready to start eating them dead bodies that are being obliterated when they drop them bombs. They're gonna get to boiling their children. All right, just so that they can try and nourish themselves. Okay. It says, and thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body. And this is coming to you Israelites. It happened many times in our past, in our history, to where the Lord was so angry at us, he allowed these nations to siege us off. And when everything was eaten up, the last resort to us eating was eating our own. All right? It says, And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy power have given thee in the siege, okay, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. All right, that distress is coming. Okay, you see how Esau Edom is technically labeling you Jakes as the problem of America. You're the most violent. All right, if you're Latino, you're gang members from El Salvador. All right, MS-13s. If you're Negroes, you're domestic TERRORs. All right, so they're labeling you already. Okay, and once these sieges happen, this is going to cause a domino effect of more destruction and distress. All right, because when you can't feed yourself, you can't eat. Um, you're gonna have this. Your spirit will change into automatic survival mode, and then this curse will come upon. It says so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother. Men are gonna be looking at each other as food, okay, and toward the wife of his bosom and toward the remnant of his children which he shall leave, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he have nothing left him in the siege, and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. Okay? It says 56, the tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. And here's an example. Let's go to 1 Kings, okay, to show you that this happened in the ancient world. All right, 1 Kings 6 chapter, okay, which we bring this out, okay. Um, I'm sorry, 2 Kings 6. 2 Kings, the 6th chapter, and yep, 25. Well, we'll start at 24. All right, it says, and it came to pass after this that Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, gathered all his host and went up and besieged Samaria. And there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it, until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the fourth part of a cab of dove's dung for 5 pieces of silver. Hyperinflation. That's what's going to occur first. All right. And hyperinflation is going to cause turmoil, chaos, and straight up robbery. All right. Verse 26. And as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, help, my lord, O king. And he said, if the Lord do not help thee, whence shall I help thee? And this is why you women are supposed to have husbands. Okay? Because in that day, if you don't have a husband, all right, who gonna help you? Who gonna protect you? Okay? No goddamn such thing as no independent woman, man. When all hell breaks loose, women and children are the first to be rubbed the fuck out and through. Okay? When men's stomachs are touching their backs, they ain't gonna give a fuck about your, cause you ain't gonna be pretty in that day. All right, your body ain't gonna mean nothing in that day. It's gonna be about survival. Okay, but you got a whole goddamn woman with 4 or 5 children talking about she independent. You gonna eat them children. Okay, that's your judgment. Them children you done popped out and you done used against their father. All right, because daddy government told you you can't have a man, but we'll take care of you. Guess what? Daddy government gonna kick your ass to the curb. Okay, and you gonna have to resort to eating your own children. First, you're gonna have to watch them starve to death. All right, weak. You have no power in your hands. All right, you don't have a man because you shat on the man or the men. All right, that you allowed to impregnate you, and you use the kids as a weapon against that man. Okay, so again, it says, and as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, there cried a woman unto him, saying, Help, my lord, O king. And he said, If the Lord do not help thee, whence shall I help thee? Out of the barn floor or out of the winepress? It's like, how am I supposed to help you? Okay? Men are going to be cold in that day. This is why you supposed to lock in you a man. 28. And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, This woman said unto me, Give thy son, that we may eat him today, and we will eat my son tomorrow. Look at that. Through. All right? So we boiled my son, and did eat him. And I said unto her on the next day, Give thy son, that we may eat him. And she hath hid her son. All right? So that's the point there. That's the point. You independent women, you're gonna become you're gonna be bartering with other independent and single women. All right, making deals on whichever your child dies first, we're gonna eat it. The Lord is terrible, man. It says, and it came to pass when the king heard the words of the woman, that he rent his clothes, and he passed by upon the wall, and the people looked, and behold, he had sackcloth within upon his flesh. All right, because that show you that he saw the destruction of the of the Israelites. All right, to where they bartering each other's child to eat. Okay, when you go to the book of Lamentations, let's go there real quick. I believe it's the 4th chapter. Let me type this in. Pine away. Type this in. Pine. Yep. Lamentations 4. Let me see. Yeah, this is I'm gonna start at verse 8. Okay, it says, Their visage is blacker than a coal. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. All right, you see them. I remember back in the day, they used to have those feed the hungry in Africa commercials. Those Hamites over there starving, flies all on their face, skin. All you see is skin and bones, no muscle. Okay, because of they're malnourished. This is what's coming. Okay, their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It has become like a stick, bony. Okay, they that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away. That word pine means rot. All right. For these pine away, stricken through for want of the fruits of the field. The hands of the pitiful women, have sodden their own children. We just read about that in uh, 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 2 Kings, the 6th chapter. The hands of the pitiful women have sodden their own children. They were their meat in the destruction of the daughter of my people. Okay? So imagine now what the Lord is getting ready to do. This last ass whooping that you Israelites are getting ready to take. Okay? The Lord is getting ready to get you, man. Let's go to Jeremiah 19. Right? Jeremiah 19 and I think I passed it. Yeah, here it is. I mean, you could read 8 as well. Really the whole chapter, but I'm going to go straight to this point dealing with the topic at hand. All right? Because ultimately, what's coming, the Heavenly Father is going to allow it to happen to you Israelites. Jeremiah 19 and 9. And I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons and the flesh of their daughters. All right? The only way you're going to resort to such vile and desperate ass behavior, all right, is because there will be nothing left. Okay? It says, and they shall eat everyone the flesh of his friend in the siege and straightness wherewith their enemies and they that seek their lives shall straighten them. All right? This is what's coming. All right? And as a matter of fact, this happened in ancient Babylon unto us. All right? So it's going to happen in modern Babylon, Babylon the Great. Okay? It's going to be very terrible out here for you Israelites. All right? Famine is a punishment that the Lord created. Okay? Let's go to that in the Apocrypha, in the book of Sirach. All right? Which is written in a couple of places, but I'm going to go straight to the 39th chapter. You know, a lot of our people, they think we crazy. We just, talking. Well, that's going to be to their destruction, man. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be to your destruction because it's very serious and very real. You see it already happening around the world, man. Okay? That's why it's going to be that much greater here in Babylon because you people don't think it'll happen. Okay? Matter of fact, I'm going to read 28 and then 29. All right? It says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Now, famine is a spirit, all right? When there's no food, there's a spirit that comes with that engulfs the people to the point to where you resort to eating your own, eating your offspring, okay? Fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. You see that? So the Lord is going to use famine as a form of vengeance, all right, upon his people. Okay? You know how much Jake love to eat, man? Most of these social media food reviewers are Jakes. Go around to these different restaurants, mom and pop spots, and they making the food look so savory and good, biting into it. You know? That's like the number 2 pleasure of the flesh. Food. You know, Jake bite into something, he get to dance and it tastes so good. You know? But that day is coming to an abrupt end. Alright? It's gonna come to an abrupt end and it's gonna be very bad. You people gonna be lamenting for them different type of foods. The briskets, the mac and cheese, you know, the empanadas, all that food that you jakes be out here on social media just loving, trying. The pastrami sandwiches, you know, the burgers, you know, with the fries. You go to all these different restaurants just to show the world you eat the food and how good the food is, and then you rate it. Okay? You're going to be doing that with your children. Okay? It's going to be very bad. Let's get another one. You know what I'm saying? I believe the point's been made. Let's go to First Maccabees. Okay? First Maccabees. It's gonna be very it's gonna be a terrible time, man. Terrible. First Maccabees, the 13th chapter. Okay. And key point is 49. Let me see. Okay, yeah, here we go. Let's just read the point. It says, First Maccabees 13:49. It says, they also of the tower in Jerusalem were kept so straight, meaning in a position of difficulty. All right, that word straight, that they could neither come forth nor go into the country, nor buy nor sell. Wherefore they were in great distress for want of victuals, foods, fruit, all right, rice, okay, and a great number of them perished through famine, okay. That's how bad it's gonna be when Esau put that straightness in these sieges. You ain't gonna want to go outside to even look for food because it's gonna be that bad. Death is gonna be waiting for you in the form of bullets, okay, being captured, okay. A lot of you gonna barricade yourselves in your homes, you know, like in these different apocalyptic movies, and you're gonna get to the point to where you just gonna hang yourself or try to, okay, because there'll be nothing. You gonna eat yourself out of everything in your damn home and be so afraid to go outside. And then by that time, the spirit is gonna just you're gonna be overtaken by a hopelessness spirit. Okay, and you're gonna give up hope, kill yourself, all right, or just die and pine away and rot of famine. Okay, these are the judgments the Lord is getting ready to bring upon Babylon the Great, and it's gonna be a lot worse than what we see over there in Palestine by way of the Gaza Strip. It's gonna be way worse than this. All right, a lot worse than this. So I'm gonna end it there, man. Lord will, this was edifying and exhorting to the hopeful elect, giving all praise unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and we on to the next video. Shalom.